Welcome back to Indic Chat. Let's hope Lord Ganesha, praying to Lord Ganesha to make the video go without any hassles now. So am I audible as well as visible? So, all right. Hello everyone. Welcome back to Indic Chat. I'm Saiswaroopa, author of Abhaya, here to share with you all about exploring the wonder women of ancient India. Indic Chat is an initiative by Indic Book Club. It's a weekly program. It's a platform by Indic Academy to encourage existing and upcoming authors. Thanks to Sri Harikiran Garu for this opportunity. Thanks Team Swarajya and Team Creative India, the media partners for this awesome program. I am happy to talk to you all about this topic very dear to my heart, about exploring the wonder women of ancient India. I shall devote the latter half of this session to take your questions once I'm done with presenting the topic. And before I really begin, I hope I'm audible as well as visible. Those of you who have read Abhaya, my first novel, would know that the story is inspired by the episode of Narakasura Vadha from Srimad Bhagavatam. It was an interesting challenge to expand the couple of chapters from the epic into a full-fledged novel, exploring the character perspectives, creating new characters, and most important of all, exploring the Shakta perspective of this episode based on Kalika Purana and the various Thala Puranas of Kamrup in Assam. It resulted in creation of new characters who existed parallel to those in Mahabharata and Bhagavata Purana. Here I need to mention that I was deeply influenced by the Telugu Prabandha literature, most of which was composed in the Vijayanagara period under the rule of Sri Krishna Deva Raya. Manu Charitra, Swarochisha Manu Sambhavam, Kala Purnodayam, Raghava Pandaviyam, Parijatapaharanam, to mention a few. Swarochisha Manu Sambhavam by Alasani Peddana. It is the story of the second Manu according to our Puranic literature, and we are presently in the 7th Manvantara. So Manu Charitra deserves a special mention in inspiring my journey. The composer Alasani Peddana expanded a single episode of Markandeya Purana where a beautiful Gandharva woman, Varudhini, falls in love with a steadfast scholar called Pravarakya. But he rejects her because he wants to be remain faithful to his wife. But Varudhini gets tricked by another Gandharva. I'm sorry. So Varudhini is tricked and betrayed by another Gandharva. Like he impregnates her and then ditches her. She retaliates by cursing him. And she becomes a very strong single mother to Emperor Swarochi. Swarochi becomes a great king, and he gives birth to Swarochisha Manu. Speciality of Manu Charitra is the poet's focus on Varudhini instead of Swarochi. So I was listening to a pravachana on the topic by Dr. Garikipat Narasimha Rao, who is a renowned Sahasravadhani as well as a Kartha. He mentions that Peddana Matya devoted double the amount of poems in exploring Varudhini's point of view than he used to capture all the male perspectives. There, Dr. Garikipati Garu commented that Kavi Hridayam is Stri Hridayam, and without that thorough understanding of the feminine heart, no India is going to attain fulfillment. So true. I also learned that in Telugu literature, maybe it's true to other Indic languages also, but in Telugu literature for a literary work to attain the status of a kavya, it has to necessarily begin with the letter Shri, invoking the divine feminine at the beginning of the work. So that's why we have Molla Mamba starting Ramayana with Shri Mahima Abhiramudu, and we have Srimad Bhagavat in Andhra Mahabhagavatam starting with Shri Kaivalya Padambu Cherutakunai Chintinchedan. That's also one of my favorite works, and quite a couple of essays contributed to mind makers have been based on Andhra Mahabhagavatamu. And Andhra Mahabharatam also starts with Shri Vani Girijas Chiraya Dadhato Vaksho Mukhangeshu Cha, which goes like, I bow down to those Trimurtis whose names are not mentioned, but they are remembered as the ones who have kept Shri, Vani and Girija respectively in their heart, on their tongue, as the half of their body. That was an inspiring, it made me think a lot about exploring this feminine aspect of ancient literature. And coming to my upcoming novel, Avishi, I want to share another very interesting incident. So while writing Abhaya, I was working on this scene. The scene was about a 5-6-year-old Abhaya, the female protagonist. Her very indulgent father, Dharmasena, is telling her stories while feeding her. And it was a very nice scene where a father can inspire his daughter through storytelling. In a similar situation, when I was a toddler, my mother used to tell me stories of Jhansi Lakshmi Bai, Rani Rudrama Devi, Rani Chennamma. She wanted me to be resilient, brave, strong. And so who from ancient India could inspire Abhaya, who existed in Mahabharata times? So it has to be a female warrior who existed before the times of Mahabharata, and it had to be a warrior because it's a king telling an inspiring story to his dear daughter. And that was when I came across this very awesome woman from Rigveda, mentioned in Rigveda, called Vishpala. And Rigveda itself is a fascinating world of hymns and stories. This topic of Vishpala is what my second novel, Avishi, is going to explore. Vishpala was an ancient warrior, the head of her settlement. That is what Vishpala literally means. She loses her leg in a night battle and given an iron leg by the Ashna twin gods. I was awestruck upon discovering this story. It's just imagining a woman getting her leg cut off and being fitted with a prosthetic leg and again getting ready to fight is something. I had to write about this. I just felt totally compelled to explore the story, though it was just a couple that were mentioning the same story again and again, but no more references. Unfortunately, Vishpala doesn't find a mention in any of the latter texts. So I really wanted to expand the story into a novel, expanding Narakasura Vadha, which is a couple of chapters from Srimad Bhagavatam. That was challenging enough, and here my ambition was to expand this precious couple of hymns without much information into a full-fledged novel. But the inspiration stuck. I think that's the grace of Sharadamba. The challenge started right from the depiction. Firstly, Vishpala was not even depicted by any popular Indian artist. The only pieces of art portraying her I found on internet were by some enthusiastic Western artists who were depicting a lot of female warriors. I just felt we have to reclaim that. We have to reclaim that because Western artists are trying and we are not. And many of these global medical journals, which delve into prosthesis, they mention in the history of prosthesis, they definitely mention Rigveda as the world's first reference to prosthesis, and they remember Vishpala. I just felt we have to reclaim it. We had to reclaim it with honor. So proud to say that cover art of the cover art of Avishi, it will also be the first Indian artwork portraying this awesome ancient warrior queen. The artist is none other than Anirudh Sainath, who is very well versed with the iconography of Rigveda. He has worked passionately on this project, and the cover reveal is scheduled on the 12th of this month, the coming Wednesday. Please make sure you like my page to get notified about the I had to reimagine the world of early Rigvedic civilization, I should say, because seeing that there's not much mentioned even in the Rigveda other than this story in a couple of hymns, I thought it should have been a very old story, even history to a lot of people who we come across in Rigveda. So basically, I had to construct a world of ancestors of the Rigvedic people that we see, and set in right at the dawn of our civilization. The process of research was daunting, but inspired by other hymns of Rigveda, for example, Devi Sukta. It is by Rishika, a female rishi, called Vak Ambhrani. This Devi Sukta, it talks in first person. She talks in first person, declaring herself as the divine feminine who bears Mitra, Varuna, Ashwinas, Indra, Agni. And Vak Ambhrani identifies herself with the driving force of the universe. Perhaps she deserves another full-length novel, provided there is a storyteller worthy enough. I'm sure there are many, provided we delve into the concept and text with devotion. And then there was Lopamudra. She could inspire multiple epics, given her importance in various texts and sampradayas. Sri Vidya Sampradaya is one of them. So my imagination of this very early Vedic world was influenced by these women who made their presence felt in the oldest book of India. It had to be the story of ancestors who have nurtured these men and women. So in Avishi, you'd find a woman who is a cowherd, who is a night guard, who is a huntress, a good couple of rishikas who don't go back in putting forth their views, women who play an important role in all the decision-making processes. So my intent was the gender parity. To do justice to Rigveda, it had to be shown as the natural norm of those times and not as some modern reform. So I hope you'll all enjoy reading Avishi. The launch is scheduled on around 11th or 12th of August. So all the notifications would be coming on my Facebook page. So please make sure you like the page. So, and I'm just pausing here to take any questions. Are there any questions? Okay, a lot of people have joined. Hello, Aditi, Ashish, Shipa ma'am, Professor Vamshi, Kavita ji, Srinivas ji. Welcome everyone. So if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the comment section. I'll keep checking it from time to time. So, Srinivas ji, yes. How did you get inspired to write only about women? I don't think we are just writing only about women. Okay, thanks for asking this question, Dimple, because Avishi, while being the story of this very awesome ancient women warrior, is also the story of the innovation and genesis of prosthesis as a concept. And the person involved here is a male doctor. So it is his story as well. So as I said, the gender parity inspired from the Rigvedic times gives an equal platform to men and women. So, I would be doing a lot of injustice if I just concentrated on women and left out men, because that, doesn't make any sense. So yes, I write about women, about men also. If I'd like, maybe it's too early to share, but one of my future works is also going to be based on Rajaraja Narendra, who is the 11th century Telugu king, the Eastern Chalukya king. So yes. Name Avishi, what is the story behind this? Yes, Avishi was the name I chose for Vishpala, because Vishpala literally means Vish and Pala, Vish means settlement in the old Rigvedic language, and she was the ruler of her settlement, which is why she was called as Vishpala. And so I thought she had to have a name which is just hers, and I was just looking for some inspiring names, and Avishi actually means earth or a river, both of which are crucial for a civilization. So that's how it was Avishi. Where are the Rigvedic verses where Avishi is mentioned? Jijit, I think I'll post the exact verses, the number of verses. It's mentioned in the 10th book of Rigveda broadly, but there are a couple of, I think around 5 verses which are dedicated to the twin Ashwina gods. We mentioned Vishpala. Once we conclude the session, I'd be posting the exact hymn numbers. So, any other questions? Where else do you get references to Avishi for your story apart from those few verses? Yes, as I said, there were essays composed on the quality of Rigveda. Rigveda mentions existence of republican form of government alongside monarchy. There are some beautiful verses used for a republican gathering. So that was something where, where I chose to set my story. It will happen alongside a republican settlement, which is Vishpala settlement. And there are also a couple of monarchical settlements, and there is an ashram, obviously. And audio is breaking up. Oh, I'm so sorry. So was my audio, should I repeat anything? Uh-oh. I'm so sorry if the audio is breaking up. Please repeat the question if you want me to repeat the answer. For now, Dimple, why the self-publishing route? Any tips for authors who want to follow it? Okay, so when I finished writing Abhaya, when I finished writing Abhaya, I had two choices. One was to approach the publishers and wait for their feedback, whatever it was. And then, I calculated they would take around 9 weeks to 12 weeks in their own admission for their first message from them, first response. And upon that, if they are interested, they'd ask me to share the full manuscript, which they would take another couple of months. And then comes the whole editing cycle. And after that, it has to fit into their marketing plan, the launch plans, their list. So I just figured out all of this would take at least 1 year at the soonest, and maybe more than that. There are authors who said they waited for 2 or 3 years before their book really got into the the publishing mill. So I thought, and staying in London, you can't help getting influenced by these very vibrant indie author circuits. So I was just inspired to take this route, so that by the end of 2 or 3 years, I would have established myself as an author, started writing my second book. Now it's less than 2 years since I published Abhaya, and I'm doing my second book also. I think this is the speed that works for me. Okay. Thank you. While writing a novel, do you write a detailed plot outline before starting to write, or fly with your instincts, so to say? Yeah, basically we have this belief that authors are either plotters or pantsters. Plotters take all the pains to plot the novel from beginning to end. The criticism against this method is that we lose the excitement of writing, but the excitement is in detail and in determining the how and in discovering the character POVs. I think, Mayuresh, I'm very much dependent on the instincts and the creative inspiration, but also plotting helps me, set the world. So I do both. Are you planning to write a trilogy with the names of all the 3 books starting with A? Joydeep, I think that's a great idea. Did not think about it, but I think I'll definitely name my 3rd book also starting with A. But as I mentioned, Vishpala was inspired while writing Abhaya. So, and I just wanted a nice name for Vishpala. It also, it's coincidence that it started with A, but thank you for that. Any other questions? I'm missing a couple of early questions because so if I just missed any of your earlier questions, please type it out again, because I'm not able to scroll back and see the earlier questions. Thank you, Joydeep. And by the way, I think this Indic Chat is a weekly program. I have mentioned it. I don't know if the video captured it. It's a weekly program. Okay. Yeah, Indic Chat is a weekly program. It's an initiative by Indic Academy to promote upcoming authors and existing authors. So please feel free to visit www.bookclub.com. I think I'll leave the contact details in the comments once we are done with the session. And read somewhere that you're already onto your 3rd book. Is that so? Yes, Dimple, I think I have finished on an early draft of sequel of Abhaya. I don't want to call it a sequel because it doesn't really, take off from where Abhaya ended, but it is a parallel story of Mauri, who is the daughter of Mura. So it will be a little bit of standalone as well as draw from Abhaya. Yes, I am fortunately done with an early draft, and it will take some time for me to hone the manuscript and publish it. So When do you think you'll finish your second book? Joydeep, I finished my second book. It is set to be launched on 12th or 11th or 12th of August. I'd be announcing it shortly. The cover reveal is scheduled on 12th of July. So I hope you'll all like it. As I mentioned, it's going to be one of the first Indian artworks depicting Vishpala. So I hope you will all like the cover and like the book as well. Any other questions? My own notes to cover, to just check if I've missed out any points. But yes, I pretty much seem to have covered everything. I'm just going through my script. So yes, I have also planned a couple of guest posts and articles which would reveal more about the Rigvedic world in which the story of Avishi is set. So I would be approaching our portals, Swarajya, Creative India, Mind Makers, and a couple of other blogs. So I hope you're all following those portals. There are other interesting articles, much more by people who are much more qualified than me, and I hope you'll enjoy following those portals. And I hope I have also covered all the questions. So yes, so if we are done with questions, I'll take a couple more minutes to talk about my future writing attempts. I remember someone asking me if I am planning to write a trilogy, but I know it's ambitious and too early to announce anything, but I am thinking about writing the story of Rajaraja Narendra, who is an Eastern Chalukya king in 11th century, who is related to Cholas, who's a son of a Chola princess. But in Telugu history, we regard Rajaraja Narendra with a lot of respect because he was the king who was responsible for making Telugu, for giving that separate identity to Telugu language. It was under his patronage that the first Telugu book came into existence, that is Andhra Mahabharatamu. I think we talked about Andhra Mahabharatamu and how it started in the earlier part of the session. But so that would be one of my future attempts. I would be starting it, if everything goes well, maybe in sometime in 2018, once I'm done publishing Daughter of Mura. Any questions? So guys, I think you have been following Indic Chat. If not, you should follow it. It's a weekly program. It happens every Sunday. Actually, this is the rare case where it's happening on a Saturday, but the next Indic Chat is scheduled on 15th of July. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dimple. On 15th of July, it's going to be Shruti Bakshi, the author of From Dio to Dharma, a book with a very powerful statement, and I'm looking forward for that chat. So please be with us on 15th of this month to meet Shruti. And also please catch up with the past videos of Indic Chat. I have learned a lot from the other authors. So, is that all? I hope I haven't missed out on any other questions because the comments are taking some time to load. So fine. I remember someone asking me about the self-publishing journey. Of course, while we go indie, we have time in our favor. But I have to mention that to those who are planning to continue in this indie journey, the process of editing is very important. It's important to hire a good editor who is well versed in the genre, in our genre, and who shares our passion for the story. I've been fortunate to work with a couple of very good editors. So those who are planning to pursue the indie author journey, please take care to hire the editor who will resonate with your theme, as well as who would make your book crisper and as good as a traditionally published book. One moment. And I hope all of you have caught up with my first book, Abhaya. So is there anyone who hasn't read Abhaya? Nice. You would have seen the book by now. The print edition happened thanks to Indic Academy again. This is the book. It's available as a print as well as on Kindle. And it's free on Kindle Unlimited for subscribers of Kindle Unlimited. It's free, and I think there is good time to mention that there's a discount going on the print edition on Amazon. So please check out, and I'll be posting the link to the book. The link to the book would be available if you click on the Shop Now button of my page. The link should be I'll be posting the link, but the buy link would be available. The buy link is there when you click the Shop Now button on my page. And very happy to also reveal that Abhaya crossed a milestone this morning. We've crossed around 100 ratings on Goodreads, which is a good milestone for an Indian indie author. And yes, the cover reveal of Avishi is scheduled on 12th of July. And there are a couple of good book bloggers who have signed up to do the cover reveal. I hope, I think those who are following those bloggers would be notified, and please like my page. You'd be notified of the cover launch. So that's, I think I've done enough promotion of myself. So any other questions? So we also heard a great news. The videos of Indic Chat, I think I'm told they have garnered about easily more than 8,000 views. That's a great milestone. So thanks to us. Keep viewing and catch up with older Indic Chats. Also stay tuned for the future Indic Chats. As I said, Shruti Bhakshi would be talking about her book From Dayor to Dharma, the next on 15th July. So please join us back for the session. And so I'll just wait for a couple of moments to address any questions. So great. So yes, if there are any more questions, yes, I'd be really happy to check them back and answer them. And I remember one question I need to answer is the exact hymns of Rigveda where the story of Vishpala is mentioned. So I'd be coming back on that question, getting back on that question, and we'll get back on other questions too. So thank you. Thanks everyone for joining us, and keep watching Indic Chat. Keep reading awesome books by these very awesome authors. Thank you, Swarajya and Creative India, and thank you, Harikiran Garu, for this awesome initiative. I wish all the best to Indic Academy. Namaste. Have a great weekend.